John? Okay, this started silly. And you know how it's gonna end. Before I begin, I'm recording this on Microsoft HoloLens, and this video and benchmarks are for my personal pleasure. I just need to know what will save me time in the future projects. Baseline for this comparison is the price. I'm trying to answer the question: if you are the jack of all trades and have $10,000 for an ultimate and complete workstation, which one would let you complete all your jobs faster? For $10,000, we could purchase 8-core MacPro with 2 AMD FirePro D500 GPUs, 64 GB of ECC RAM, and 512 GB solid-state drive. Since it will be used for 4K video editing, and 512 GB drive can fit only a few minutes of 4K video in highest quality, we had to get RAID. We got the cheapest Thunderbolt 2 OWC Thunderbay 4 RAID for $650. It is a soft RAID, but promised RAID from Apple website was $1,600, and that was almost $1,000 more. We also got 31-inch 4K Samsung monitor with 99% of Adobe RGB space for $1,300. But I listed here cheaper LG 4K monitors so the trolls wouldn't say anything about $300 difference. We already had 24-inch Wacom Cintiq. You can get 22-inch Cintiq for $1,800, so I calculated that one instead. Everything total of about $10,400 plus tax. Apple also had option for 12-core CPU with lower frequency, but it didn't fit the budget of $10,000, since we would have to pay $1,500 more, which would be crazy. Is this now the ultimate desktop computer? Sad thing is that this CPU that Apple sells in Mac Pro as of October 2016 is actually Intel Xeon manufactured in 2013. In 3 years, they updated iPhone 3 times and 0 times their desktop computer. Moving on. In this PC, I added 2 CPUs with total of 56 logical cores. It also has 64 GB of ECC RAM. I decided for 512 GB SSD. Since there was enough space in the case, I also made the same 4-disk RAID as on Mac Pro, but I added hardware RAID controller, making it faster and more reliable than the Mac one. This workstation has the latest NVIDIA GTX 1080 GPU with 8 GB of RAM. There is a space for another one in the case, just in case. We also have 24-inch Cintiq and 31-inch 4K LG monitor with also 99% of Adobe RGB space. Total price of about $8,700. So let's add 3D mouse and HTC Vive of $800 with a total of $9,700. There is a plugin for Premiere and After Effects that lets you edit videos with the VR headset, and that is $200 more, just so we can get closer to $10,000. I went with this CPU because this workstation will be ultimate 3D designer / artist workstation, and 3D software can use all 56 cores on the system.
This is unprecedented. Secretary, hold on my telegram.
First, Photoshop benchmark. Since Photoshop can use all available cores, there is a huge difference in performance. PC is 380% faster than Mac Pro. It does not matter much for a single small image, but if you are doing a batch job for Hasselblad photos or frames of 360 footage, you will appreciate having job done in 1 hour instead of 4. You can compare results with your computer by downloading this benchmark from the link in the description. Premiere is not optimized for multi-core systems, as you can see in the CPU monitor, so there is not much performance difference. A $2,000 PC with Core i7 at 4 GHz might be even faster than this one after overclocking.
You are good enough. Put your doubts to rest. Go out there and conquer this goal. Remember, I love and approve of you.
This is a benchmark of my Viewport performance. It doesn't matter that Mac has 2 graphic cards. GTX in PC is 5 times faster. Now imagine working on a complex scene with several million polygons. In the CPU rendering, you can also see enormous difference between these computers. If you have $10,000 for personal workstation, should you really go this crazy? MacPro has one CPU and two GPUs, while PC has two CPU and one GPU. Some of you who watched my similar comparison video 2 years ago thought that that was not fair. So I have to note again that the baseline was the price. What is the best that you can get for this amount of money? And it is also not my fault that Apple doesn't make professional workstations with two CPUs anymore. So the choice was limited. I also have to note that these machines are used here for 3D work mostly. So that is why I wanted more CPU cores rather than higher CPU frequency. In conclusion, if you are someone who uses mostly Premiere or After Effects, you do not have to invest $10,000 into a workstation. For Adobe software, I would rather get Core i7 at 4 GHz and save several $1,000s. But if you need to render with 3D software 24/7, get as many cores as you can afford. Since you're still here, check out my One Commander file manager for Windows. It features the one thing from OS X that doesn't exist on Windows: columns view for directory hierarchy. You can also use it as dual pane file manager and then have compact columns view. It has tabs, favorites organized in groups, spacebar to preview files, smart metadata, and it is available in light and dark themes. It costs only $100. I'm joking, it's free. All opinions here are my own and I'm not endorsed or paid by anyone to make this video. Cheers.